Universal Audio just released another saturation plugin. I know, there's like way too many of them. And I just made a video, and you can see it like right here, by clicking on this link here, where I debunked some of the saturation myths and all that, and I talked about like how it all works and how they basically introduce more problems than the issues that they're solving. So let's roll the intro and let's talk about the UAD Verve. Alright, so we are now in our trusty Cubase, and there's actually two different plugins that, or basically the same plugins that they released, one of which is just called the Verve Essentials, I think, and it is currently free, and you can download it right now, and apparently it's in like a limited quantities, whatever that means, with like a digital thing, but sure, and you can get it, but like the extended version or the original version is gonna just have more things. And the first thing that I noticed is that like the free version doesn't have an output, while the other one does. Like, you can't change the gain of the output, which is just like, really Universal Audio, really, like, you're gonna cheap out on that? Okay. But yeah, on the free version you get like a couple of things, like 4 different machines, or 4 different, I guess, tape machines. They're all just going to be tape machines. And on the more expensive version, because the first one, like the free version, is not going to be free forever. It's just going to be free for like April or whatever they said. And this one is going to be like $200, something like that. Let me check. Yep, it is $200, and you can see it here. It's currently like discounted, and you can get it for $100, but yeah, it's going to be $200, which is just dandy. But let's test them out, and this is a song that I'm currently working on with our US artist, and this is me singing, and I'm just gonna play the chorus and tweak some things on both plugins, and we will see what we will get. This is without anything. Things will get brighter, but somehow they never do. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. All right, so let's introduce the free plugin. Things are gonna get easier. All right, so the first thing that I'm noticing, and you can see it here, is that we got a lot of like high end with this. So this is without it. How they never do. And some more presence and all of that. I'm liking it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm liking it. I'm liking what I'm hearing here. At least on these headphones. Yeah. But somehow they never do. It's pretty good. Let's try out the warm setting. Oh, Jesus. But somehow they never do. Yeah, like it just cuts the highs for some reason, and it's weird. I am hearing some digitally things like aliasing, or I might be tripping, but we're gonna check that out in a second. But let's try out this one. It's on 100%. Jesus. Things are gonna get easier. Yeah. All right, so this reminds me of my father's Mitsubishi Colt from 1989, and his like cassette tape player that just sounded like shit, and it sounds like this. Yeah, but somehow they never do. Sure, I mean, you can use it like creatively for certain things. It's not for like mastering or like putting a whole track through it, but sure, it's I like it. It's pretty good. All right, so the last one, drive is on 0, and it's still like driving like crazy. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about the filter that they have on it. It like loses a lot of high end. I would love to have that as a choice, like my choice, but they thought that this is cool, so whatever. When it comes to the interface, it's just an odd looking interface for like Universal Audio, because they are doing like replicas of original things, and you all probably know the Studer. There we go. There's a Studer. You probably all know this, and like you can tweak this, and you can do certain things with this that you just can't do with this plugin. I guess if you just want to use it for like coloration, sure, it's fine. So let's try the $200 version, and I'm hoping that no, there's no like you can just like choose warble. But somehow they never do. Bypass. Things are gonna get easy. So I think it's the same thing. Yeah, it seems. Yeah, it is the same thing. But let's see what warble does, because. But somehow they never do. Things are gonna get easier. So warble essentially should be basically just like variations in pitch, and I am not sure that I'm hearing anything. It must be so like so small that it's just like barely you can barely fucking register it. But somehow they never do. Right, maybe it's gonna be more pronounced on the other versions of the tapes. So I don't know what this is. It doesn't even have tapes, so I guess it's like transistor situation. So let's yeah, it has a tone instead of warble. So let's hear this. Things are gonna get easier. Things will get brighter. But somehow this sounds pretty good for kicks. Not gonna lie. Even for bass. Things are gonna get easier. And if you go over the top, it's okay, I guess. It's usable. Oh, this is just like valve or like tube situation, I guess, because you see the tubes here. But somehow they never do. Interesting. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't touch this like tone knob, because like, what does tone mean? Like it's EQing the signal. It's obviously not a filter. But like, which frequency? I guess like if used sparingly, it's fine. This one is not my favorite. Like it does sound like tube E, but I don't know. But somehow they never do. Things are gonna get easier. Okay, now you can hear it. Now you can hear it. This is obvious. Like now you can hear the warble. But somehow they never do. Things are gonna get easy. Okay, that's maybe too much. But see, like, I don't understand why you don't have a tone knob here, because this is without it. How they never do. You can hear the highs, you can hear the air, and now you introduce this, and if you like the drive, it's just not going to work on a full mix. Why don't you have a tone knob at least here? Like, why don't you have like an equalizer or something? Why do you need to filter it? Like, I don't get it, but okay. Thicken. What is thicken? Oh my god. Things are gonna get easier. Okay. Somehow they never do. Not sure that I like this, but sure. Yeah, you can hear the warble here. I'm not sure about the first one. The first one, I think it's like it sounds like the Studer. Not gonna lie, and we're gonna compare it to the Studer later. This is just like what is this? Just a radio? Yeah, it sounds like a radio. Okay. Somehow they never do. Okay, so when used sparingly and when used creatively, this could be potentially good. I'm not sure about the warble though. Things are gonna get easier. I'm liking what it does to the percussion that you can hear in the background, but unfortunately you can't hear it because there's a filter and it just like it ruins the tone. But if you could use it on just that, like that percussion, it could be like the warble could be potentially pretty good. Okay, more tubes, drive and tone. Let's see what are it. All right, like with on 0, it's already like distorting. Yeah, but somehow they never do. It's again just like high shelf EQ. Sure. All right, let's see the other one. Now, I'm not sure that that anyone ever sold a device like this that distorted this fucking much and said like, yeah, this is gonna cost like $200, like ever. So I don't think it's emulating anything, but I don't know. I'm hating that you also don't have the inputs. Like, if I can set like a lower inputs, I guess I can do that by doing this in Cubase. But again, that's not the point. I'm liking the warble here, though. Let's check out fire. It is very fiery. Right? Maybe for some synths, I don't know. Sputter. Oh, this sounds like a transistor that is choking. How they never do. Yeah, I don't know. For $200 for like what 3, 6, 10 different things. Like yeah, you can. I guess you can see this as like RC20. It's just like a flavor box, and it's just gonna give you like some different sounds for your synths or kicks or whatever. But is it really worth it? Like, is it really worth $200? I'm not sure about that. But let's do the test with the signal generator, because that's how you see if it's worth it or not. So as in the last video, I'm gonna make a sine wave that is gonna be oscillating at like 10 kilohertz, and we will see if it's gonna add. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just check out the video from the start. I linked it. You will understand how saturation works and how digital saturation just doesn't work, and how most of the plugin companies just don't care and they just like half-ass it, and they just release a plugin without like any anti-aliasing filters, and in the end, it's just gonna do more bad things to your mix than it's gonna do good. But yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go watch that video. It's like the last video that I uploaded before this one. And if you do know what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna shut up and do the test. So this is a sine wave at 10K. Okay, we can hear the warble. So this is without the plugin. It's just like a straight sine wave. I'm just gonna mute it so we don't hear it. But let's introduce the plugin without the warble. So yeah, it is still folding back, and they do not have an anti-aliasing filter. All right, let's check out the next one. Same. The harmonics that are folded back are like more pronounced than with this one. So no bueno. What about this one? Same. Oh my god. Okay, so it's supposed to sound like this. Give me a second. It's supposed to sound like this. But when you introduce this warm setting, you get this. It's just like a lower frequency. Sure, drive isn't like 100%, but still. I'm liking the warble though. They did that part of it pretty nicely. But let's continue. All right, so we don't need to hear it. Let's continue. Oh, this one seems to be the best one. This one seems to be the best one. What about this one? It's warbling, but oh, okay. This one seems to have an anti-aliasing filter. Okay, this one doesn't for some reason. So we have frequencies folding back and just going below the fundamental, which just wouldn't happen with any actual hardware. But sure, drive, it's the same. So yeah, and I'm not seeing any. Can you click here? No, I'm not seeing any oversampling mode. So it is what it is. You get what you get. Let's see what the free version does. It does the same thing. Well, I guess it's the same preset as the last one. So yeah, it is in fact doing the same thing. This one seems okay-ish. This one doesn't have anything. Oh, is this? Oh, you know why? It's because they have a filter before the actual like saturation stage. So you can hear the filter here. So they first filter the song or the signal that you're like putting into it, and then they saturate it. So that's why it doesn't have any aliasing or aliasing or however you guys pronounce it. I'm Serbian. But yeah, it just has a filter before the saturation. And apparently you can solve this by using the Meta plugin. It's DDMF, fine audio software, and I'll link it down. So it's basically a wrapper. It just like takes a plugin and it can do oversampling for it. And if you use something like that, then this is gonna work like an actual hardware would, but it's like 70 more bucks. So like, do you wanna buy it or not? My train of thought is like, just get a plugin that already has oversampling in it. And like, when it comes to UAD, it's again like it's 2024. Why don't you have oversampling? Like Saturn has oversampling, and it just works nice. But let's compare this to the Studer A800. All right, so this is without anything, but somehow they never do. This is everything bypassed, and this is the Studer, and let me set it to 30 inches per second, maybe to 50. So let's hear it out. And yeah, it's already saturating a lot because I'm like in the red right now. But let's compare it to the Verve analog machines. Things will get brighter, but somehow they never do. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, things will get brighter. All right, so I can hear that it has a lot more like low frequencies. So let's tame it a bit, and let's hear it again. But somehow they never do. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, things will get bright. All right, so Verve has a bit more high frequencies, I guess. So let's tame a bit of the low frequencies again, and let's try it now. How they never do. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. It's a bit louder. Things will get brighter, but somehow they never do. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Honestly, to me, it's the same. If I had more time to spare, I would probably make the Studer like sound exactly like the preset, like this preset from Verve. I'm not sure about the other ones, like what they sampled or what they used, but yeah. This is basically a Studer, and if you have the Studer, just don't get this. Honestly, don't get it for this at least. But is this worth 200 bucks? I wouldn't say so. Yes, it could be fun to use as a color box, but like for 200 bucks, no. It's currently 100 bucks on sale. The other one is free, and I would just get the free one and just forget about the rest because it just doesn't like no, it's not good enough. For $200, it would need to have oversampling, at least. But the fact that they didn't introduce an output gain knob on the free version just says a lot about Universal Audio. Like, I'm a UA audio nut, I guess. I have like I have a quad, I have 2 quads and an Octo UAD, like PCI Express cards, and I have most of the plugins. Most of the good plugins, the bad plugins I just didn't buy, and this is one of them. Honestly, this is one of them. I wouldn't get this. I wouldn't spend my money on this. But yeah, thank you for watching and thank you for supporting me through Patreon and channel memberships. If you want to become a patron, there's a link down in the description of the video. And yeah, that is it. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, it's 2024. Most of us already know about anti-aliasing and all of that, or anti-aliasing. I never know how to pronounce it, but like, they just did this again, and like, it's bad. Even the A800, the Studer, does the same thing. Like, why don't you have oversampling UAD? Like, come on, it's 2024. Anyway, bye. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, things will get brighter, but somehow they never do.